What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Next Gen Talk TV. I'm your host, Chantze Duckworth, and I'm here with
Shay O'Connor. Hey, y'all.
All right, Shay, we are here. Before we start, I want to thank the TIP Foundation for Change Incorporated for letting us use this amazing center to film this interview. So first off, before we start, Shay, how are you feeling this evening?
I feel great. It's a Saturday. I woke up knowing I'm going to see Chance today.
All right.
We're going to make this interview good. So I walked my puppy, and then I came here.
A puppy? Oh, man. What type?
I have a Shih Tzu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, like I said, you are a journalist here in New Orleans. So can you just tell me, how did you first fall in love with journalism?
I would say my whole life, I really enjoyed journalism, but I didn't know. It started with me watching the news with my grandmother. Uptown, we would watch the news all the time. And I didn't realize that this was something that I looked forward to every day when I got off school. And then around Hurricane Katrina is when I think it sparked in my mind, like, okay, this is what you're gonna do. I remember seeing Anderson Cooper reporting on Hurricane Katrina, and we had evacuated to Dallas. So I see him like swinging off a tree, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's dangerous. I wanna do it. And so like, I remember just feeling like, wow, that's something interesting. And then of course, the days after when we actually got a chance to see the devastation, I realized that, I don't know, I felt like the journalists weren't really putting New Orleans in the right perspective. I felt like a lot of what I saw was racist. I felt like some of what I saw was just like, what? Yeah. That's a journalist saying that? And so that's what made me say, when I ever get the chance, I'm gonna be a reporter in my hometown.
Right, and I know that you love New Orleans so very much. That's why you came back from Jackson. But when you came back from Jackson, can you just tell me what sparked that flame in you to come back to New Orleans?
So it never was off my mind. Like when I went to Jackson, I was an anchor and reporter at WJTV. And it's really just like where I went to hone my skills, to gain skills. We were talking earlier about how I had to record, edit, and report on my own stories daily. So I learned a lot about deadlines. I learned a lot about storytelling there. And so at some point, because I would just watch and look to see what openings were available here in New Orleans. And so then at some point I see like, there's a few openings. Let me just start reaching out to the news director. And I mean, I would call her every day almost, because I'm like, I need to come back home. Like the only reason I went to Jackson is so I could come back to New Orleans. And so one day she's just like, come on, girl, like come down. We're going to interview. And then the rest is history.
The rest is history, right? So let's get to like the reality. What's something that viewers don't really see when it comes to being a news reporter? You know, it can be early mornings, late nights. You never really know. Can you just tell me what people don't really see?
So if you really want to be good at what you do, you have to be willing to do it all. Like, I feel like I've worked every shift. I feel like when it's a story that I'm working on, like, that is my main focus. So if you tell me, Shay, I can only interview at 11 p.m. and my shift is over for 6, I'm trying to figure out how I could get to you. I'm trying to get a photographer ready. I'm trying to make it to where I get you in the moment, because first I want to make sure that you feel comfortable. I want to make sure that you feel comfortable sharing your story with me, because that's so important. And so if at 11 o'clock, that's the only time you could do it, let's do it. Right. So it's like, you have to be flexible. You have to be compassionate. You have to be, just there for people, because I feel like people can see it.
Right. And I know that you've always told stories, obviously here in New Orleans, but that mean a lot to people, whether it's certain communities. So can you just tell me what's one story that stuck with you throughout your entire journey in journalism?
Oh, there's so many. There's so many, Chance. There's a lot of stories that I told in Jackson that were really awesome too. So I never like to take away from them. But of course, since New Orleans is my hometown, I would say the stories that I did on the youth. I remember I was covering so many murders in New Orleans. It was like one after the other, after the other, after the other. And I'm just like, I need to find a positive story. So I start calling around, and I call Orleans Parish schools, and I'm just like, do y'all have anything that's positive? Like, I need something, like, cause I'm like so depleted over here. And so they're like, Shay, there's 4 Black young men who are valedictorians in the city. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that story. So I start reaching out to everybody. I randomly was like told like, okay, you can do the story. So I start reaching out to everybody. I was able to find 3 of them. So I get them all together. Well, I go to each of their schools and I do interviews with each of them, and we do like a story on it. It airs. It did really well. But I'm like, why can't I find a 4th one? I'm like, what is happening? Like, I know his name is Elijah Hogan. He went to Cohen. Like, so then I get a call from a social worker, and she's like, Elijah Hogan is homeless. He's been living at the Covenant House, so that's why you couldn't find him.
I remember that one.
Yeah, so we did the interview.
Hogan graduated with a 3.89 GPA.
The main challenge was fitting in. There was a lot of obstacles I went through, but I was able to come through it head on.
And literally, from that one story of me just asking, like, what is positive in the city, I feel like I got a chance to see like how my journalism could like really change someone's life. Because after interviewing him, the story went viral. He literally, like, I had to tell him, like, put together a GoFundMe, like, now, please. By the end of, like, the week, he had, like, over 150,000 in donations. Wow. People just like, Shay, how can I get to Elijah? Like, I want to give him a haircut. I want to do this. I want to do that. So it really made me feel so good. And I just hope he's doing well. He ended up going to Xavier University. So I'm hopeful that he's doing well.
Well, Elijah, if you're watching this, try and get in touch with Shay. See something, we need an update.
Right, exactly.
Now, I want to talk about something a little bit more recent. You leaving WDSU News. In your farewell message, you said you had to advocate for your own growth and that we can't live a meaningful life if we aren't growing. Can you tell me what that moment actually looked like for you when you realized it was time to move on?
Definitely. I love news so much, and I love my city so much. So it was such a hard situation for me because I just knew that, it was just something that, like, I still think about, like, oh my gosh, like, because there's so many stories that are still untold here. But, I feel like at some point we reached that point where it's like, you know what? I bring so many young kids like you, not trying to call you a kid, but so many youth I would bring into the station and just kind of show them everything. Like, this is what you could do. This is, And so if I don't stand up for myself, then how am I standing up for you? I want you to be able to walk in and say, I'm from New Orleans. I should get everything. So I feel like as New Orleanians, we should be given the light. We should be given the water. We should be able to grow, and we shouldn't have to leave.
Right. I totally agree with that.
Me
now
too.
Let's move on from the past. Let's talk about the future. Well, let's go back to your local news part. What has local news taught you about purpose, about what actually matters?
I just feel like everybody has a story, right? And some people are able to capture it a little more. And so I just feel like, local news is, I've never thought about like going national or anything because I feel like...
You never know.
Yeah, like I don't know, it's just, I enjoy telling the stories of like everyday New Orleanians, And so I feel like local news is all I've ever wanted to do because I just wanted to show us in the best light possible.
Right. And, for young people like myself who are or want to get into media, what's one thing that you wish someone had told you in your high school years?
To never give up. And like, if you see something that you are interested in, like, it's so very attainable. Like, all you have to do, and now it's like you could Google everything. Right. At the time when I was in high school, I could Google everything too, but it's like you can Google what you need to do, right? Find mentors who you can talk to weekly about like just decisions that you want to make. And I just wish that there were more people that came to my school to talk to us. Right. And so that's why I like to go to schools. I like to talk to students because you just never know. And I wasn't like the best student. I was like that child that was like talking a lot in class. I was like
Sounds
making
like
jokes.
me.
I was silly, but it's like, see how that works? Like if I just had somebody like, girl, you have all that it takes to be a journalist, then I would have thought of myself differently at the time. So I just feel like it's important to, to have mentors.
Right. And now as you step into this next chapter, can you tell me, what you're excited about? I know you feel a little bit more free. You're doing your own thing in your own way. Can you just tell me what's up next, or how you feeling?
Yeah, so I have a lot in the works. And first off, it just feels good to be able to rest. I have received so many calls, so many free lunches from people just like, Shay, come over. Like, I just want to talk to you. I just want to see you. Like, the amount of community support I've received has been amazing. So I'm so excited to show y'all what I've been working on. But it also includes, just an organization for youth when it comes to mentorship. So, I just have a few things that I want to do that I just feel like is very important and will help to guide young minds. Because that's what it's all about.
I know that's right. Anything else you want to add on before we close out?
I just want to tell you that you did such a great job, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. Well, I do want to thank you for taking the time to be with me today, talk about, what's actually going on and how you're feeling. I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Also, stay tuned. They will have more merchandise available out on NextGenTalkTV.store. I'm going to hook you up with something.
Ooh, okay, now.
And thank you for everything you've done for the city. My name is Chantze Duckworth.
And I'm Shay O'Connor.
And we're out.